Hello and welcome to Books of Blood. My name is John, and today I want to do something just a little bit different for you. Somebody suggested in a comment, and it wasn't even a comment on one of my videos. It was another channel or another video from someone else. I don't remember who, but they suggested that I do a video on books that should not be made into movies or TV shows or whatever, should not be adapted because of their content, all right? And I thought, well, if it's just because it's too gory, there's been so much gore on screen that it's, that's just kind of a moot point or something like that. I mean, because just depending, you got the Japanese films like the Guinea Pig series and things like that are supposed to be so gory and so realistic. I mean, even so that Charlie Sheen freaking thought they were an actual snuff film and called the FBI. And the FBI said, yes, Mr. Sheen, we will take care of that. Winning. Anyway, so I thought, well, why would you not want to have a film adapted? What are some reasons why a film or a book shouldn't be adapted? And I thought, well, okay, yes, gory, that's one thing. Disturbing content, that's another thing. Or perhaps content that puts a certain group or individuals or whatever, a certain group or certain lifestyle maybe in a bad light, all right? I mean, now, if it's a movie that puts pedophiles in a bad light, I'm like, yes, go ahead. Please make that movie, all right? Yes. That's just great. We'll do that. But then there are others that you don't want to do that to. So I've got 4 books here, and I wanted to do books that I myself have read, all right? And that I was in some way disturbed by. So then I couldn't sit there and go, well, if you've never read this book, how can you say it shouldn't be made into a movie? Then that's censorship. I don't want to do that. So I don't have any particular order for these books, and I will try to give you the reason why they should not be made. And not so much why I don't think they should be made, just maybe why they just shouldn't be made into movies, all right? So probably going to start with the most, I don't know, maybe this is the most controversial one. I don't know. I mean, if you've read it, and I'm going to warn you right now, there are probably going to be spoilers throughout this video. All right, so first one I want to talk about is Poppy Z. Bright's Exquisite Corpse. All right. So what this is about, in a nutshell, is about these 2 homosexual serial killers that are basically on the same path, and that path is leading them to this. And I mean, it's kind of the way this boy is described. I believe it's about 18 years old, but he is this beautiful Asian boy that they both have their sights set on, all right? And when you get to the end, and when they finally find this boy, and there is a sex scene, but this sex scene turns into something even more horrific than just sex. The things they do to this boy while they are doing things to this boy are absolutely, they're nightmare fuel. It's just absolutely terrifying. Now, the reason why I think a book like this, now this book was published, and if I recall correctly, Poppy Z. Bright, or Zed Bright if you're Canadian, so the Canadians, they say Zed. I always wondered about that, why they did that, but that's just the Canadian thing. There's nothing wrong with that. Anyway, this book was published in 1996, all right? And I believe in 1996, at that particular time, I believe that, that homosexuality was becoming more of an accepted thing. Because you got to remember, years ago, even a book like this probably would not have flown whatsoever. You made a book like this in the 70s, man, people would be like, what is this? But nowadays, though, when there is more support for the homosexual community, and there's more activism, I guess you could say. I don't know political terms or whatever, but more activism for them or whatever. A lot of people are more pro-gay than they used to be. You know, and this is such a touchy subject. I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but to present two homosexuals in such a light as to represent them as just being absolutely evil, I don't think something like this is going to fly if you made it into a movie. And again, like I said, and when I say because of the content, I also mean like you don't pull punches. Whatever is in the book, you put it in the movie. And like I said, the things they do to this boy are just absolutely horrifying. All right. So that being said, that is my reason why I don't think something like this should actually be made into a movie. If I'm wrong, tell me in the comments. That's what the comments are for. All right. And there's also another reason why I chose 4 books instead of 5. All right. So let's go on to the next book. All right. All right. The next one up. And like I said, these are in no particular order. The next one up, I am basing this one purely on the just sheer amount of gore that is in this book. Again, like I said, I know there are a lot of gory movies out there, but yeah, this one is just, think of this one as a cowardly version of Charles Bronson's Death Wish. You know, that's kind of a way to put it. But anyway, I'm talking about Yellow, and this is by Aaron Beauregard. And this is about a fellow, what is this guy's name? I never can remember. Oliver Fitch. All right, Oliver is this guy that runs this convenience store somewhere in New York. It could be the Bronx or whatever. But anyway, him and his wife and he run this convenience store. They live upstairs above the convenience store. And every single day, this gang or this group of thugs or whatever, these thugs come in and they just make his life an absolute living hell. And then one night they break into his house or to his living quarters, his apartment, whatever, and they do things to his wife, trigger warnings, they sexually assault his wife and just completely emasculate him, and then just leave them both for dead. The wife dies, all right? They leave Oliver for dead. I mean, they just, let's put it mildly, they fuck this guy up, okay? And something snaps inside Oliver and he becomes that man that he is just not going to take it anymore, all right? So, what does Oliver do? Oliver, to quote Pulp Fiction, Oliver gets medieval on their asses, all right? That's what he does. He tracks down the thugs. He goes from the lowest thug to the higher up. And some folks like in between, especially there's a home invasion scene between him, he's the home invader, and this bank manager. And the things that he does to this bank manager's sphincter with a fireplace poker, and may I say a red hot fireplace poker. Yeah, when you read that, I mean, I read it, I had freaking nightmares. So that is why I had nightmares for, I just like, and it's very descriptive. So for this one here, I'm going to say the reason being is it is just absolutely, and a couple of these are going to be absolutely just completely gory, all right? But yeah, I'm going to say this one here as well, okay? Yellow for the gore, all right? So there you go. Okay, next up, I have got, and for this one, I wanted to include a Jack Ketchum book. And, you're probably thinking, well, why didn't you include The Girl Next Door? But The Girl Next Door has actually been made into a movie, even though the movie is way more tame and still disturbing, but far less disturbing than the actual book. I almost included it, but I wanted to do books that had not been made into films. For this one, I'm going to go with Ketchum's. I believe this is Ketchum's first novel, and this is Off Season. All right, so you're probably sitting there thinking, well, wait a minute, there's been things like this made before. What about the Wrong Turn movies? Well, what about them? Basically the Wrong Turn movies, yeah, you do so a few things where, that these inbred mutant hillbilly whatever you McCollums are, they're prepping somebody to eat them. They are cannibals. They're inbred, hillbilly, mutant, cannibal, whatever you call them, all right? This one here is more along the lines of the legend of Sonny Bean. Now, Sonny Bean, I don't remember exactly where it was, but he was this fella that he was like a highwayman, a highway robber or something, but he lived in this cave system with his wife. I can't remember if they were related or not, but he lived with his wife. I believe they were. Anyway, they had all these little mutant hillbilly mutant children, and anybody that was unlucky enough to pass by, they would catch them and they would eat them. And way back, this is a long time ago, and way back a long time ago, they had to, call in that era's version of the National Guard or the Army or whatever to get these weirdos out of that cave. And they didn't just say, oh, well, we're going to take them and try them. Oh, no, they killed them. That's just, they had to. Anyway, this is along that line. The off-season it's about a group of campers that run into these Sonny Bean type characters and Ketchum. If this were made into a movie, the way Ketchum absolutely pulls no punches about what is being done to these unfortunate souls. Yeah, I think you'd need therapy after watching a movie like this. It would just freaking, I read this a long time ago, and it still goes through my mind sometimes about some of the stuff that is described in here. Literally people pretty much being eaten alive, just the things they do to these people, it's just nasty, all right? So that's my reason why I don't think Off-Season should be made into a film. And again, like I said, when I say into a film, I mean like if you were going to film it, you film it exactly the way it is in the book. If you're just going to film it and take things out of it, then what's the point in the first place? All right, so there you go. All right, finally. And again, I said that I don't have these in any particular order, but I did want to save this one for last because I read this book, and the first time I read it, I think it took me about 2 to 2.5 hours to read it, and I put it down, and this book stayed on my mind for so long. I told my wife about it, and she's just like, you need to throw that book away. All right, I can't do that. I can't do that. I wanted to do it, but I can't do it, okay? I still have the book, of course. It's in my hand right now. I've actually read the book again, and I was still just as disturbed by it. And you could almost put this book in psychological horror territory if it weren't for the horrific things that actually happen in this book. So I guess I should tell you what the book is. The book is Survivor, and this is by J.F. Gonzalez. So when I said getting into spoiler territory, and you have been warned, all right? But anyway, Survivor is about this couple, a man and woman, and they are on vacation, and they are accosted by this group of people. He is arrested in a trumped up, screwed up fake charge or whatever, just to get him out of the picture. She is taken, and they are going to make her the star of a snuff film. All right. So now, that being said, before the two of them are captured, they meet this young woman and her little girl. The little girl is probably about 2 years old, all right? Again, getting into spoiler territory. So the woman that is kidnapped, now the woman and the little girl, they help her out, and she's down on her luck. She's homeless with this little girl. Anyway, they capture this woman, and she, in order to save her own ass, gives up this mother and little girl to these people, all right? Now, the stuff that they do to this little girl, the stuff that they do to the mother, it's not really described in great detail. It leaves it up to your imagination, all right? And I think that if this were made into a movie and done exactly like that and left up to the viewer's imagination, yeah, you're talking absolute nightmare fuel, okay? Something like this has stuck with me for as long as it did. And, I camera just glitched. I'm sure it's going to show up. Don't know if it's going to do right or not. But anyway, my camera just glitched. But anyway, yeah, to film something like this and to film it the way the author has written it, I said that's just nightmare fuel, because sometimes the implication of things that are happening are a whole lot more horrifying. The whole thing about what you don't see or what you can't see is sometimes more frightening, way more frightening than what you can. All right. So yes, those are 4 books that I personally think should not be made into films because of their content. All right. Now I wanted to make this 5, but I just, for the life of me, I'm like, I can't think of a 5th book. Okay. So in the comments, and I know you're probably sitting there going, oh God, this is clickbait or something like that. It's not clickbait. I just would like to hear your input. So what books do you think? And they don't have to be horror. I just chose horror. But what books do you think should not be made into movies because of their content? And if you can give me an explanation as to why, that would make it even better, okay? So yeah, that's going to do it. I'm going to post this video on Monday like I've been doing all my videos lately. It is the weekend, and I hope you guys are enjoying your weekend. And if you're out there doing whatever, please be safe. Please be careful. And I will see you guys next time. Thank you very much. Bye.